Tech News Weekly is sponsored by GoDaddy. Get a .com domain name for only $2.49 by using offer code QUEENS at checkout.
Starting Tech News Weekly in 3, 2, 1.
Hey everybody, welcome to Tech News Weekly. I'm your host, Andrew Zarin. Of course, I'm joined by John Bubb as I meet you every week. How you doing, John?
Hey, Andrew, what's up?
Nothing much. We got a special guest here with us today.
We do.
A friend of mine, my internet friend. He's very active in the internet broadcasting community. If you live stream, if you're active on the IIB, you may know him. Nick Craig from Radar Gaming. How you doing, Nick?
I'm great, Andrew. How are you?
This is your first time on the air with us.
I'm so scared.
Look at how nervous he is.
He's very nervous. Nick is very active in the internet broadcasting world. He has a phenomenal show called Radar Gaming on the Radar, and he also does websites. Tell us about your website side job.
I've been doing WordPress website design and other website jobs for a few months now over at craigdigitaldesigns.com.
And you also specialize in Roku apps.
Yeah, I've been doing Roku app development as well, which has been pretty cool.
Nick also developed our Roku app here at the GFG Network. So if you want to see a great example of what he's capable of, if you have a Roku, download a Roku app and you can see what he did. And we'll talk about that at the end of the show too. But Nick, I have you on for a reason. Not because I like you, not because we're friends, because the Sony PlayStation 4 was released today, midnight. People lined up all across the country, all across the world to get this thing. Some people were waiting upwards up to 20 hours online or in a line or on a line. In a line or on a line, whatever.
I think it's online. Technically.
In line.
Online?
In line.
In line.
Yeah.
All right.
To get this Sony, a lot of people are excited for it. I know Stephen Haywood just picked one up. I know Josh Combs is picking one up. Why are people upset over this? Because people are getting it, a lot of people are happy, but I went online this morning, complaint after complaint after complaint.
Yeah, it's pretty bad. I was browsing Reddit this morning and hanging out in some of the gaming subreddits and just checking gaming websites, and they were all tearing it apart. The PlayStation Network has been extremely unreliable since the console launched. I don't even know if I still don't even think it's up and responsive because of the amount of people that are having it. There's issues with HDMI output. The whole thing's just a disaster.
What happened with the HDMI output?
So, according to Sony, it's an isolated issue where there's a metal piece blocking the HDMI connector, and it's causing you to get no audio or video, and it's something that they actually have to physically take the console back and fix.
Oh my God!
So anybody that's got this, they're gonna have to recall it. I mean, that's what I'm thinking. And they say isolated issue, but 3 gaming blogs, Kotaku, IGN, and I think Engadget all got PlayStation 4s with that issue. So
the other issue is obviously to get this initial update through the PlayStation Network, where people are not able to get the update and people are not able to log into the PlayStation Network. Is that the issue right now?
Yeah, the servers are just hosed from everybody trying to download the day one patch update. So it's pretty bad right now.
And this is what's going to happen. I mean, this is something that I expect on a day one launch with any of these devices. The same thing happened with the Nintendo Wii. People are complaining that everybody got this thing on Christmas. You open it up, you hook it up, and you're sitting there. And I had it too. I had a 7-hour update on the Nintendo Wii U.
Why is that, though? And this is something that's going to happen with the Xbox One. When it's released, they're also expecting a day one update that, until you do this update, you're not going to be able to use your new gaming console, whether it be the PS4 or the Xbox One. Why do they do this? Is it because of it's just so hard to develop for it? Or
I think what happens is the last couple of weeks, there are people actively using this within their own internal network, and they're finding these little tiny bugs. So they're not going to find out until more than the small, I guess, test study is reports. I think a better idea would be, like, we know that Microsoft is going to have an update like this when they release theirs next week. Why not ship a DVD to GameStop, to whatever? And it's part of the deal. You know, if you go to GameStop, you're getting it. Here's an option. You get this for free. Here you go. Here's the update, so you don't have to do it online.
It's not up to date. That's the issue. I mean, for them to take to put all the updates on a CD, that disc has to be in Gold Master probably 2 weeks before the console launch to get it printed, boxed up, sent out to all the different GameStops and other stores. I just don't see it. It doesn't seem possible, especially when they're finding bugs. Like, they probably found bugs 2 days ago, and they were like, "Oh, we'll just add that to the bug list that we'll send out on day one."
Now, I know you're pre-ordered for both of them. Are you going to pick this up, or are you going to stick with the Xbox?
I think I'm going to stick with the Xbox. I think they hold it for 48 hours. I believe they hold the pre-order. I don't think I'm going to be getting it in the next 48 hours, so I'll probably let the pre-order slide, and if I get it, I'll probably get it around Christmas time, if I do.
People are liking the UI, but they are saying that the release titles are lacking. They're not that great. The release titles for the PlayStation 4, I was just reading that article. This is fascinating, though, and I'll tell you why. We are in a different time now. I mean, when the PlayStation 3 came out and when the Xbox 360 came out, we did not have an iPad. We did not have an iPhone. We didn't have an iPod Touch. We didn't have the concept of apps. Online gaming was not what it was. Facebook gaming, I mean, for a lot of people, they're consuming, they're craving, they're
You're
feeding
also
that need.
talking like 10 years ago.
Yeah.
10. I mean, we're talking when
Close to 10 years.
Almost 10 years, 8 years ago, 7 years ago. It was a totally different market. And now it is not that necessary to have an Xbox or PlayStation and to go and wait online. I'm really fascinated with what the numbers are going to be for the initial sale. I think they're going to be high, but I do not see them selling 100 million units over the next 6-7 years.
You don't think so?
It's
I don't
possible.
think so. I mean, John, you never gamed, but you remember. Go ahead. Sorry. I remember amongst all my friends when the PlayStation 3 came out, for example, everybody went to go get it initially. I got it, I think, like a month later for Christmas, but everybody got it. Why? Because that's what you did when a console came out. Everybody was excited for it. Now, I feel that maybe we're getting a little older, but I don't have to play on a console to play video games. Every game that I'm playing, and listen, I'm not a gamer, but every game that I play is on my iPad, and that's good enough for me.
But see, I think you're talking about two different markets here. I think there's the casual gamer market and there's the hardcore gamer market. The hardcore gamer market is only going to be interested, well, I wouldn't say only interested in, but they're going to be the only people that are genuinely interested in going out and getting the PS4 or the Xbox One as soon as it releases within the next, 2-3 months. Casual gamers, I don't think are really going to be interested in, all right, well, what is this thing going to be? Is it something that's worth it? I've already got an iPad.
Yeah,
you're talking about two
right.
different markets here.
No, you're absolutely right. I'm talking about the casual gamer. The casual gamer still, 7 years ago, was waiting online and buying this thing.
Yeah, and this is interesting because this is something I think Microsoft is in a way trying to address with their media additions to the new Xbox One. But I'm just not sure that that's really going to be that big of a selling point to get casual gamers to buy an Xbox One.
I don't know. I mean, Nick, amongst your friends, I mean, you're younger than us, but amongst your friends, this is why I wanted to have you on. What are people saying? When you went to school, what were people saying? Were they excited about this, or was it just, well, I don't understand. What's the big deal?
So it's really interesting. When I pre-ordered the Xbox One about, I don't know, 4 or 5 months ago now, I thought a lot of people would be getting these next-gen consoles, but it turns out that they're not. A lot of people are really, and friends that I play games with, I guess you could say hardcore, we play 2, 3, 4 hours a night. They're not even getting these next-gen consoles. So
Really?
it's really interesting, right?
So what are they doing? They're sticking with the 360?
They're sticking with the 360. I'm going to be the only friend in my group, in my circle of friends that is getting the Xbox One the day it comes out. None of my other friends are getting it.
But what is
it's
it?
really
is it,
interesting.
Now, is that because, I mean, these are not inexpensive devices. I mean, you're talking about a $500 device, which, in this economy, it's a lot of money. $500 7 years ago was a lot of money too, and it's still a lot of money. Is it the price, or is it because there's no need for it, because there's still some support for the old console? We're not forgetting about it, and really there's no need to kind of move to the next step?
I think it's a little bit of both. I think the price has a big portion in it because, I'd be telling people I'm going to get it. And they're like, I have no interest in spending $500 right now. A lot of them are working, minimum wage jobs and stuff like that, my friends. So I think price has a lot to do with it. But I also think it's a lot of the launch titles for the Xbox One and the PlayStation 4 are already Xbox 360 games. I mean, a game like Call of Duty Ghosts, which is a really big title for the Xbox and PlayStation 4, it's already out on the 360. You can get it on the 360 as of last Tuesday, so it's already there. So that's I think
and John,
another reason. Why
what else is interesting? I just got an iPad. I paid $500 for this thing. I'm gonna
all
get
these things are coming out at the same time,
and that is really bad. It is really bad because look, I sold my PlayStation pre-order. Shh. I made a couple bucks off of this. Don't tell the guy that you could have probably gotten it. It's cheaper, but so I don't have that. I sold it, and I made the money back because I really was thinking, do I need this PlayStation? The last one that I got, I never turned on. There's no reason, but I'm going to get the Xbox. I'm now sitting in limbo. Well, if I was a regular person, I wouldn't have, one of these I would not have gotten. It was either going to be the Xbox, the PlayStation, or the iPad. I picked the iPad. So the odds are I probably wouldn't buy the Xbox, and that is really bad. This is the first time that all these things have happened at the same time.
All of these devices are competing in your world, or is that just because in a way I kind of see this as, well, like I said, you do have that casual gamer market. Is that because you're more of a casual gamer? Is that why you're deciding to pick between one of them?
Yeah.
Whereas I think maybe a hardcore gamer is going to choose maybe the iPad and an Xbox or PS4.
Well, and Nick, chime in on this because you are one of the hardcore gamers, and I use that, I'm quoting air quotes here, guys. For me, I bought the Xbox. Then a year later, I bought the PlayStation. Why? Because I got the Xbox, I played with it a little bit, and I got bored with it. And here's the newer thing. I don't think that's going to happen this time around. I don't think you're going to have people that are buying an Xbox now, and a year from now, they're going to buy a PlayStation. I think now you're really drawing the line in the sand, and you're either going to be a Sony PlayStation 4 guy or an Xbox One guy.
No, I think that's accurate. I don't think people are going to do that
because they're coming up at the same time. They're coming out at the same time, and that boredness and the whole thing, we're like, well, I want something new now. That's not going to exist because you know what? The PlayStation's going to be a year old at that point. Yeah,
for sure. I mean, obviously, the geeks and the gamers and the tech nerds, of course, they're most likely going to get both. But if a casual gamer or somebody somebody like that, they're going to get one if they get one at all. Because a lot of them, I don't even think are going to get this console for the next 6 months, up into a year, probably even past a year, at least at this point.
Now, Nick, what are they saying with the quantity of these things? Is it readily available? Can I walk into a store and buy a PlayStation right now if I'm not pre-ordered?
That's something I've been wondering. I was wondering all day. I didn't have a chance to talk to anybody that went out to a midnight release without a pre-order. I mean, from what I've seen, Amazon sold out. They put them back on stock for like 4 seconds, and then they were instantly sold back out again. I mean, I don't think you could walk into any store today, right now, and get the PlayStation 4. I just don't think it's gonna happen.
So I'm on Amazon right now, and I'm looking at if it's available. And guess what? It is not available.
Yeah, it was up at like midnight, and it was up for like 4 or 5 seconds, and then it like instantly sold back out. It was really bad.
And what else is interesting is that normally when you go to these websites, the base model will be sold out, and then everything else might be available. The higher model will be available. Those are all gone too.
Yeah, they on Amazon they've got about 6 different editions with different games, and every single one of them is you can't even like pre-order. You have to wait for them to tell you that it's back available.
John, are you buying a PlayStation? Be honest.
PlayStation, no. If anything, maybe an Xbox One because of the media capabilities that it has with it. Yes, the PS4 does have some of that stuff, but I think because Xbox is done by Microsoft, it might integrate better with the other devices that I have.
And this is interesting because you are not a gamer at all.
No.
At all. And people were complaining when Microsoft had that announcement. It was all about, media, and it was about online. It was about services. But to be honest, you are that person that will buy it because of that.
Well, then again, it is, I think, somebody that would buy the Xbox One solely for the media purpose of it is going to be somebody that's hardcore into media. And so I don't think it's going to be somebody that's just, oh, well, I'll just take a chance spending $500 on a device and see what the media capabilities are like.
Yeah.
I think it's going to be somebody that's specifically looking for a media device to serve as somewhat of a media server or a extenders, I think the word I'm looking for. And those are the type of people that would be really interested in the Xbox One for its media purpose.
Yeah. I want to move on with some of these stories because I could talk about this forever. But before we do, I do want to talk about our advertiser, our sponsor to the show, and that's GoDaddy. I'm a big domain junkie. I buy domains every week. All the time I'm buying domain names. I'm buying ridiculous ones. I'm buying ones that could be potential business ideas. I'm buying ones that could be a potential show idea. And the way that I look at this, I look at it as real estate. I consider it 21st century real estate. And I'll tell you why. My wife had a website. And it was a business that she was starting. The business never took off. There was never anything on the website. And we got an email one day from GoDaddy. And they said, listen, there's somebody interested in buying the website. Would you be interested in selling? And I said, yes. And they gave me this offer. I was astonished. I was blown away by it. I paid $2 at the time, $3 for a domain. And I sold it for a couple $1,000, which is unbelievable. And you could get a great deal right now. They're offering a phenomenal deal for our audience. Queens199 is the promo code. When you check out, you put this in, and guess what you're going to get the domain for? Not $3, not $4, but for $1.99, under $2 for a .com domain name with GoDaddy. Doesn't get any better than that. $1.99 for a domain name. I mean, insanely cheap. Some companies are charging upwards to $20 for a domain name. $1.99 for a .com domain name at GoDaddy.com. Use offer code Queens199 at checkout. And I want to thank GoDaddy for supporting Tech News Weekly. John, you want to go into a story?
Yeah, I kind of want to talk about this story about Apple stores being open on Thanksgiving. Is this something that you guys think is a good idea, a bad idea? Last year, only 2 Apple stores were open the day of Thanksgiving. But now we're having a whole handful of stores, about 10 of them, that are going to be open Thanksgiving Day. Is this something that is just taboo, that it's just bad for stores to be open Thanksgiving Day and taking people away from their family?
I personally hate it. I absolutely hate the whole idea that, Thanksgiving, Easter, Christmas, all these holidays where, people were taking off and they were spending time with their family. Now, these stores are open. Not only are people going shopping, but these poor people have to work. And Thanksgiving is one of those days, you know what? You want to be home with your family, and now you're going to be working. But that's it. You know what? If you want to work, you want to work. What's the big deal? But they have to do it. They have to keep up. Walmart's opening up at 6 p.m. on Thanksgiving. They're shutting down, I think, for a couple hours, and they're opening up. So every retailer is doing this. I don't like the Black Friday stuff. I don't like the after Thanksgiving shopping. My wife has done it a couple times, and she says she'll never do it again. It's more of a spectacle more than the actual shopping. Yeah. Nick, do you guys do it? Do you guys go crazy on Black Friday? What do you do?
Previously, there's been a few things that I've gotten some computers on Black Friday, but just looking, there's websites like it's like blackfriday.net or whatever, and they have like all the sale flyers from all the stores, and there's nothing even good. Like this year, I looked through the flyers, and there was nothing that I was like, wow, I really need to go out to get that. There was just nothing really compelling for me.
Well, we're actually going to be doing also, John and I next week are going to be working on a list of top deals on Amazon, on Newegg, on all these stuff. We're going to be putting it out on the website, like a couple every day, because there's so many to pick from, and we're going to pick our favorite toys and gadgets to post. But I don't know. I don't know how I feel about the whole shopping on Thanksgiving, and it's a little nutty.
I think it's hilarious. If you've ever worked at a store and watched the madness, and I guess if you're working it's a little hard for you to watch. But when I was doing radio several years ago, we would always do promotions. We'd always be broadcasting live from somewhere for Black Friday. It's just crazy just to watch people. Absolutely crazy.
I worked retail for many years. I worked at the Gap when I was a teenager. And I worked one Black Friday, and that day was a disaster. I was probably, how old was I? I was 18, 2001, 2002. I worked a 20-hour shift.
Wow.
I worked 20 hours. And the overtime was great. The money was great. But the store was that destroyed where I put in a 12-hour shift and then I worked an overnighter right after. It was the most insane thing I've ever done. The store, I think, made like $350,000 that day. And people lose all self-control on these days. I have no idea why. I don't know what happens to people, but they think they're missing out on something. Let me tell you, that TV that Walmart or Best Buy has...
crap.
No. That, let's say that Samsung 60-inch TV that they're selling for $300 or $400. You know how many of those they have in stock? 1 or 2.
Yeah.
And you have 150 people all waiting to get that one TV. It's not going to happen. And it's a big trick. And every one of those deals, guess what? They exist that Saturday and that Sunday and especially that Monday. I think it's just insanity.
Nikki in chat room says Apple Thursday. And I think that's kind of right. It almost feels like Black Friday no longer exists. We're moving everything up to the day of Thanksgiving.
And then Cyber Monday.
People just have to get such a jump start on Black Friday. Oh, well, I can cut out this whole Black Friday thing and get people into my store if I open on Thanksgiving Day. But I am one of those people that think it's wrong to make people work on Thanksgiving Day. You should be there that holiday with your family.
Yeah,
it should be about giving thanks and thankful that you have family around you and everything like that.
I give thanks to Suncast every Thanksgiving.
Damn straight.
I thank them for editing. I want to talk about this since we were talking about shopping. And Nick, I want to get your opinion on this. Amazon will be doing U.S. and U.K. delivery to customers on Sunday in the U.S. with partnership with the United States Postal Service. This is first of all, I find this really bizarre that the United States Postal Service is going to be delivering on Sundays for Amazon alone. You're going to be getting this it's starting this week for New York and Los Angeles. I think this is not a bad idea, but is this a seasonal thing, John, or are they going to be doing this year round?
I think it's year round, and it's going to be select Amazon products.
Oh, select Amazon
It's not going to be every product that Amazon has. It's only going to be select products.
Yeah, I wonder what this is going to do for the United States Postal Service. How much in revenue they're going to be able to bring with this?
It depends how many products they have.
What was that, Nick?
I said it depends how many products they have in stock. Like John mentioned, if it's a very limited select products that you can actually get delivered on Sunday, then yeah, maybe some people pick it up. But unless it's a lot of products, like it's a whole warehouse that could get delivered on Sunday, then I think the Postal Service could take advantage of it.
Do we know what kind of products they're gonna be doing?
Not a clue.
Yeah,
and that's the thing is that I think an initial rollout of this is going to be just first 2 cities, and it's going to be select products. But I do see in the future that if they see that this is a good thing, that people are liking it, that they could expand it to more products. Which I imagine that if that's what they do, that's what they will do.
I kind of like it.
It could be a lot like the Amazon Locker service that they have that nobody really gives a crap about.
Well, I'll tell you something. Something like this comes in really handy because it's my wife's birthday on Monday, and I ordered something a little late. And right now, I obviously wasn't offering Sunday delivery, but I'm going to get it on Monday. But it would have been really good if I got it on Sunday.
Yeah.
Something like this is pretty handy. But I thought it was a cool story. I was actually surprised when I saw it because they were talking about how the United States Postal Service is planning on cutting Saturday delivery, and now they're going to be doing Sunday delivery exclusively for Amazon.
It's bizarre, It's like, why? See, they're not doing FedEx and they're not doing UPS, but they are making a deal with USPS to do this.
Well, they're the most desperate.
I find fascinating because technically FedEx does do Saturday delivery.
So does UPS.
Yeah.
Yeah. So interesting,
but not the post office. So why are they doing this with the post office? And generally, I don't particularly like having my packages shipped through USPS. It usually doesn't end up working well because they're tracking and just absolute crap.
Yeah.
Once your package leaves Amazon's initial network, like normally if it's a hybrid delivery, it goes through FedEx or UPS first and then gets handed off to post office. Once it gets handed off to the post office, your tracking is no good anymore, and you have no idea where your package is.
Yeah. I don't know. Hey, talk about this Australian Postal Service introducing the video stamp. You've been talking about this all week.
That's cool. I think it's an interesting idea, and I don't understand why they're not doing something like that here. Everybody knows what QR codes, right?
Yes.
Well, the Australian post office is making a whole system where you can send a stamp, a video stamp, which is really just a QR code, and that'll be a video message. It's really cool. So what you do is it's free, and you just scan it. You download the application from the post office on your phone, scan the QR code, and within 12 hours, you can record a message to go along with that. And then when your friend gets your package with the QR code on it, they download the same application, scan the code, and they can see your video message.
That is
It's an
actually
interesting
cool.
concept, and I think it's very well done, and it's super easy. Most people are already familiar with QR codes now, so
I like it. Nick?
It's kind of an interesting idea.
Yeah.
It's like something that you would never think that would actually exist. It's
Listen,
something
we
that-
put Elvis on a stamp. Why can't we have video stamps?
Yeah, I guess so.
I think it's really cool.
honestly, I don't see why the U.S. Post Office doesn't do this and even charge maybe $1 or $2 to do this, and they can generate some revenue that way.
Yeah, it's a gimmick. Listen, it's a gimmick, and they can make some money from it. Why not?
Exactly.
They need to make as much money as possible. We all know that there's been tremendous cuts to the post office, and they're not bringing in the money that they were bringing in, and anything to make some more money. Interesting. I want to talk about this Snapchat. That popular
You love
app.
Snapchat.
I do love Snapchat. I Snapchat all the time. Appropriate Snapchats. Let me just tell you that. I know Snapchat is hip amongst the
Right.
kids, Nick.
Yeah,
I know. Are your friends Snapchatting?
I guess so.
Reportedly, they were offered $3 billion from Facebook, and Facebook turned it down. They're not accepting it. $3 billion for this simple. It's a simple application for people who don't know what Snapchat is. Pretty much, you take a picture and you send it to someone, and you set a self-destruct. So after 5 seconds or 10 seconds, the picture self-destructs. It goes away. Someone can't access it. Early on, there was a lot of stories about people were using it to take naked pictures and send it to each other, and it wasn't all that secure because they get to see the picture, and people know how to save an image on Snapchat. So there's a lot of things that would happen, but I mean, here's Snapchat. I'm going to Snapchat right now. Let's do this. There you go.
Who are you going to send it to?
I'm going to send it to Jessica and my friend Dara. There you go. Sent. I just Snapchatted everybody live on the air. $3 billion for this ridiculously worthless app.
And they laughed at him.
And they said no. And they're a company that has no revenue. They don't have ads. They don't make money. Is this a totally inflated number again? And, typical Facebook fashion, just like they bought Instagram for $2 billion, they're throwing a crazy number and hoping they accept it. John, what do you think of this?
It's fascinating that they turned this down because it's like that's a lot of money. I see two sides of this. I see the side that where they could have made a lot of money doing this, but at the same time, I also see the side where there's these larger companies, Facebook, Google, Microsoft, where they'll gobble up these companies that have some sort of novelty product that they've developed. They'll buy them and do nothing with them. And that's something that just infuriates me, that when there's a company like Facebook or Google that buy some novelty company that has developed something, some sort of service or application, that they want to maybe try and see if they can integrate it or stop them from developing into something even greater than what it is now. Because once they buy that, then what happens to it? A lot of times, nothing.
Yeah.
Instagram. Yeah, Facebook purchased Instagram, but I don't know that it's really any better off.
No, I mean, they really haven't done anything with it. They bought Luma.
Yahoo bought Flickr. And Yahoo did a horrible job with Flickr for the longest time.
Oh, they let
bought
it sit. They didn't do anything with it.
Until Marissa Mayer came back in and said, let's revitalize Flickr. Because that was something that they could really do something with, that they just let languish.
What were the other two companies? Luma, which is a editing company, and Lightbox, which is a photo sharing company. Facebook also bought those. So it seems like they're really...
I bet you could find out easily at least a half dozen companies that Facebook or Google has bought and never done anything with. Just solely for the fact of being able to buy them and look at their technology and see if that's something that they could utilize. And if they can't, they just do nothing with. And then those services that people really enjoyed using, nobody can ever use them again.
What I find hysterical, I was watching the news the other day and they were talking about this, and they said the reason why Facebook wants these companies is because Facebook is considered old to the young people. Young people aren't using Facebook. They're not Facebooking. They're not using Facebook chat. They're using WhatsApp or whatever it's called, and they're using Instagram, and they're using Kick, whatever, all these other services. I'm like, everybody that I know that is, in their early 20s, late teens, is on Facebook. They're not on Facebook. They're on it.
But are they using it? That's the real question here. I think that's why. So. That's I know in my school, at least in my age group, people are just not using Facebook anymore.
What are they using?
It's just Snapchat group. For whatever reason, group text messaging seems to be really popular again. I'm in a group text message with a bunch of friends, and it's like 40 people.
Well, what application are you using?
Just regular SMS.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, it's kind of weird. It's making like some weird comeback. I'm not sure why.
That is weird.
I wonder if that has anything to do with the fact that unlimited texting is now included in most plans.
Probably, yeah.
Yeah. When did Facebook really get big?
How many years ago? Well, they exploded 2008, 2009.
So in 2008 was unlimited texting. Was that like
no?
No. Yeah, I think John makes a good point with that. That's interesting. I never thought about it like that.
It wasn't until maybe the last 2 years that unlimited texting is really included in almost every single cellular plan that you can get.
Interesting. I don't know. For me, I don't. You know what though? I don't like Facebook Chat. I have it, but I don't like it. I
hate it.
Generally, I'm using Google Chat. I haven't used AIM in years. AIM, I haven't at all because nobody's on it anymore. But I was big on AIM. I used AIM a lot. I use Skype Chat, which Skype Chat is awful, but I use it because everybody's there. And I use Google Chat. That's it.
I refuse to use any instant messaging service that I cannot get on my PC because I use my phone and my PC equally. A lot of times I'm even at my computer, and so it's easier for me to reply on my computer than it is my phone. If I have an application like WhatsApp or Kick that's only on my phone, well, then I have to go and do it only on my phone, whereas I could easily respond on my computer, which bugs me.
See, this is why I like iMessage on my computer, because with iMessage, I'm able to send a message to anybody with an iPhone, and I could just do it over that rather than doing it on my phone. I use that a lot. I use Facebook. You know what? I do end up using Facebook Chat a lot, but it's because everybody's on there. So I guess it's whatever your circle's using. Really, that's all it comes down to. Nothing else. Huh. John, go into a story.
All right, so I want to talk about this whole BlackBerry debacle thing that's still going on. As everybody knows, the CEO got pushed out, and they have an interim CEO. John Chen, who used to be from Sybase, the CEO of Sybase, and is also the executive chairman of BlackBerry's board. He said that BlackBerry has financial strength for the long haul. And this is something that I find extremely interesting, considering this is a company that people still don't give a crap about anymore. They're trying as hard as they can, but for whatever reason, not only can they not make traction, but they just are consistently late.
There was a lot of news as to why this guy was picked as the interim CEO. One of the stories is that because he speaks Mandarin, they want to penetrate the Chinese market with BlackBerry because they're realizing, okay, well, we're kind of losing here in the States and in Europe, so let's try a new market for us that we could kind of get some traction in. I was looking at a global, usage chart, and Android globally is like 80% dominant. 20% like almost 20% or 14% was iOS, and then it's Windows Phone, and then BlackBerry.
Yeah, there's a very interesting quote in this article from John Chen. He says, "We have begun moving the company to embrace a multi-platform, bring your own device world by adopting a new mobility management platform and a new device strategy. We are also leveraging our tremendous assets, including BBM, our network, and QNX. While we are proud of these accomplishments, we know there is more work to be done." I guess this is all just him trying to say that we're still there for their customers. Okay, so you're talking about the customers that are enterprise customers that are still locked into your enterprise services that you have to offer because it would cost them so much more to move on from what they currently have.
Hey, did you sorry to interrupt this, but did you, to kind of go back to the Snapchat thing, did you hear the report that Google possibly has outbid Facebook and they offered Snapchat $4 billion?
Really?
I heard that rumor, but I don't know if that's true or not.
I don't know if it's true either, but that is a fascinating play for them.
Why would they sell for 4 but not 3? That doesn't make any sense.
Oh, yeah. I mean, well, maybe potential job, maybe stock options. I mean, a lot of that comes into play, but at that point, you're nickel and diming. I mean, from $3 to $4 billion. Wow, it's an extra extra $1 billion. I mean, would you say no?
You think they're worth that much?
No, I don't think any of these. I don't think half these companies are worth that valuation. I mean,
I have friends that are not into technology at all. One of them brought up to me last night, why would Facebook offer Snapchat that kind of money? And the answer is there is no reason. Yeah, I think it's completely absurd to offer a company $3 billion that has made $0 off of their app.
I mean, look at Instagram. Another great example. John, how much are you bidding for this? Can we pull our money together? Do you think we could put together like $6 billion amongst three of us?
Oh, sure. We'll sell off GFQ assets to make up the money.
Yeah. Hey, Nick, you're an Android user. I'm an Android user. John is an iOS user. And today, Google Play Music is finally on iOS.
Yeah.
This is actually a bigger story than a lot of these websites are reporting. I think this is huge because Google Play Music is actually pretty good. I have it. I pay the monthly fee for it. I really like it. But the bad thing is it's only on Android. It's not on iOS. Now it's on iOS, John. Are you going to try this out? Are you going to download it?
I've never really been interested in Google Music to begin with, so
I think it's pretty good.
I don't know what I use it for.
Yeah. Well,
I mean, I got a 32 gigabyte iPhone. If I have a selection of songs that I want to listen to, I'll just put them on my phone.
I guess you could do that. I guess so.
I don't have to worry about any of this Google Drive stuff.
Yeah. Here's another story, and then we're going to get into our picks of the week. I've seen the picks, and they're awesome this week. I have a decent pick. Nick has a really good pick. John's pick is actually very John-like. I don't want to give it away. But Comcast might be selling movies via its cable box instead of just renting them. What do you think of this, John? You're a Comcast subscriber.
Yeah, I'm mostly undecided about this, but I'm kind of leaning towards one direction on this. This is interesting. This is coming from the Wall Street Journal. The offering will not be tied to any other stores using ultraviolet authentication, at least at first. So any digital collections will have to start fresh. And it sounds like this is only going to work with your subscription. And this is something that concerns me because if you don't no longer have that subscription for whatever reason, what happens to all those movies that you purchased?
Gone. It would be gone.
And I just don't think that's fair. I really don't think that's fair to be able to offer some sort of digital good that you're purchasing the rights to own, and then if something were to happen, if you lose your subscription, those movies that you purchased, you no longer have access to. Well, I just don't think that's right.
Yeah, I mean, then they're not purchased. Then you're leasing. Yeah, you're leasing it on that device. I mean,
that's still renting.
Verizon does a similar thing with FlexView, where you could watch it at any time, and Dish Network is slowly moving to this. But to be locked into a device is not a good idea, or to a service
especially
is not a good idea.
A cable company, especially.
Yeah, because they could kill that service off. And now
they could kill that service off, or you might find a better deal with AT&T or whomever, Time Warner.
Well, what happens if you move and you don't have Comcast in that area? What happens then?
Yeah, exactly. What if they get run out?
Yeah.
What do you do?
I think this is an interesting idea, but at the same time, I think there's just some challenges there where you have to address what happens when you no longer have that service from that company.
Yeah.
If I'm spending $20 to buy this movie from Comcast, I want to have that. I want to be able to do anything I want. Because it's like if you bought a DVD, you can sell that DVD to your friend for like $5? What if I have a digital movie that I want to, loan out to a friend?
Yeah.
How do I do that?
That's been the big PC gaming argument for a while too. Is, I mean, with the service like Steam, you buy all your games there, but if you decide to leave or don't have access to the service anymore, you're out hundreds of dollars you spend on those games. It's I don't know what in the future we're going to do to combat.
Well,
this
we know
issue
someone that's going through that problem right now. That they're having an issue with Steam, and they realize that all these games that they have bought, and not necessarily the games. The argument is, well, the game is $30. We're selling it to you for $5, and now you're locked into our service because you're getting such a tremendous deal on it. I understand. I kind of could understand that. Okay, to some weird
extent, it's a trade-off.
It's a trade-off where they're giving you this phenomenal deal, but what about full price games? What if I spend $50 on a game on Steam, and I want to play it someplace else? I can't play it without Steam. Which is then, are you buying it? Are you leasing it? What are you doing? I'm very uncomfortable with that. I don't like that stuff. And I feel like we are going more into a model like that. I mean, but the same argument goes for video games. I bought the game for Xbox. I can't play this on my PlayStation.
Yeah, that's a similar argument.
It's a very similar argument. I mean, it's physical, so you really you really can't do it. But what if I bought it from the publisher, right? What if I bought it from the publishing company? What if I bought it from THQ or whoever else? If I bought that from them, why can't I get two copies? One for PlayStation, one for that.
Yeah.
I mean, there's a lot of argument here for that. I actually, we should talk about that in coming weeks, and we should have Nick on again to talk about that, because that is interesting. Do you DRM this stuff where it has a special activation and you could play it on whatever platform you want? I'll give you an example. I'm a big Street Fighter fan. I downloaded the game for Sony. I have an Xbox in my bedroom. Why can't I play that game upstairs? I have to buy the same exact game for the other title. It's stupid. Why can't I get one authentication code and I get access on both consoles?
Yeah,
I would love that.
It's kind of that interesting point where we don't want to go to the store to buy a movie anymore, so we can buy it online or buy it from Comcast or Time Warner, Verizon. But now we're sitting here saying, well, if I leave Time Warner, I'm never watching this movie again. So it's an interesting kind of trade off. We'll have to see.
I think this is all very different, because if you look at something like iTunes or Amazon will sell you a movie. However, it's not like you can't go somewhere else. You could be anywhere as long as you have access to a computer and iTunes. You can get your library. You could get whatever you downloaded and watch it.
Yeah,
it's not so tied into a very specific system. Whereas if you buy it from Comcast, you could technically switch cable companies and then you're screwed. Whereas iTunes, it's not something that you're locked into like a cable company.
It's interesting how, depending on the company and the type of software it is, some of them do this weird thing where, like, okay, it's cross-platform. You can play it on whatever service you want to play it on.
It's supplemental.
Yeah, like look at Office, for example, from Microsoft. Because I have Office, I could use it on my Mac or I could use it on Windows. It doesn't matter. I just go to the Office website and I download that file. That's it. Same thing with Adobe. You could download the file and use it on all the services. So, I mean, we're in this weird period, but we'll see what happens with that. I want to go into one final story, and then we'll do our picks of the week. I found this to be fascinating that they're admitting this. Verizon admits that they can't handle LTE demand in major cities. This is actually very surprising turn of events for them, because I did not imagine them to admit this. They've been gloating about how Big Red is spreading across this country, and they're the best LTE service, and they're the best internet service for wireless. And now they're saying, like, well, listen, we're having a lot of problems. What do you think, John?
It's fascinating that they're actually admitting this. And I think the plan is that they're admitting this to try and ease the tension that their customers are having over this constraint of bandwidth. I guess they're saying that in places like San Francisco and New York, their LTE service is so congested so constrained by the demand that they're actually realizing that they only have about the speeds of 3G. They are working very diligently at rectifying these issues. So they're saying that by the end of 2013 that they're going to have these issues solved. But I guess the only thing I can fathom is that they're admitting this so that they can ease the tension there with customers that are complaining about LTE not acting like the speeds that they expect. That it's only really acting like 3G.
Well, you know what I would actually like them to do is give me service because I have no bars. I have nothing where I am.
See, you live in such a bizarre place, though, because I have Verizon as well, and pretty much anywhere I've ever been in the last year of service that I've had with Verizon, I have never had less than 3G.
And I'm in New York City.
And that's just bizarre to me because
Yeah.
I've been to Iowa, in the middle of Iowa, and I've had 3G
No, I don't even
on
have
Verizon.
I don't even have 1X. It just says no service.
That's bizarre.
I'm in a weird death
I think it's
zone.
your phone.
It's every phone though. It's my wife's phone too.
That's weird.
Yeah, not good. Not good. Hey guys, guess what time it is? Time for Picks of the Week. This is a part of the show where we talk about products, websites, apps, hardware, software, whatever comes to mind that we like, and we feature it for you guys. I am going to go first this week. I never go first. I'm going to go first. Are you guys okay with that?
Yes.
Okay. My pick of the week this week is, it's a little convoluted. So, KitKat came out last week, and they've been doing updates to certain phones, but certain phones are not getting it. And one of the phones that is not getting it is the Galaxy Nexus. This was the second Nexus phone that Google released. It's a pure Google experience. You don't have any of the extra apps on there. You don't have the Samsung stuff and the LG stuff. Samsung did make the phone, but they're not supporting it. Why? It's a 2-year-old phone, and they're phasing it out slowly. But that doesn't mean you can't get KitKat. You can't get Android 4.4. Thanks to a guy, I'm going to go to the website. It is on rootswiki.com. A guy that goes by the name Baldwin Guy 77 has a ROM called Shiny. It's an over-the-air like stock Android ROM. So it's totally stock. There's no changes. There's no modifications. And he has cooked a ROM for version 4.4 for the Galaxy Nexus for Verizon. I'm going to have it linked in our show notes. And I've been running 4.4 for about 2 weeks on this thing. It's phenomenal. I mean, listen, it's still buggy. He's still working on it. There's some driver issues that he said he should be fixing by, I think, tomorrow. So I'm gonna give an update tomorrow if this happens. But it's great, and you're getting the brand new, the latest Google experience. You're getting everything that you would normally get on the latest phone. There's 2 different runtimes on this. So there's Art, which is a new runtime on 4.4. And there's Delvik, which is the previous runtime. I'm running the latest one, and it is blazing fast. Applications open up so quickly. It really extended the life of this stupid phone. Because right now, I don't know what to buy. I'm in this weird limbo where I don't know what to get. There's nothing that I really like. I don't want an iPhone. I already have a Windows phone. I need an Android phone, and there's really no Android phone for me because I'm on Verizon.
What? You mean any of the 20 Android phones that they have out now you don't like?
Oh, they're awful. Well, the LG G2 is the only one that I kind of would buy, but I don't like the look of it. It's hideous. So if you have this phone, I know it's a very niche thing and it's 2 years old, but you can put KitKat on it. And it's version 4.4, and it's on roots.wiki. Rootswiki.com. You know what? Easy search. Just do Shiny ROM Nexus Galaxy, and you'll find it. So that's my pick of the week. It's a ROM. You hate it, John.
Cool.
You hate it.
I don't hate it.
All right.
I just got nothing to say about it.
All right, what's your pick of the week?
My pick of the week is a application for iOS and Android. It's called Beard Booth. It's pretty fun. I'm going to load it up here on my phone so you can take a look at it. It's from Duck Dynasty. If you know those people, they have those giant beards and everything. It's kind of a phenomenon now that everybody loves Duck Dynasty and the beards. Well, they have an application now where you can make yourself have one of those beards that they have. If you want to be Cy, Jace, or whomever, and one of those crazy beards that they have, you can do that now. So I'm going to try and do that here real quick for you. I already have some photos loaded on here, so I'm going to go ahead and choose that and load it into the program here. Here's the photo. It's, of course, a photo of Andrew Zarian. I'm going to enlarge it here real quick and add a beard. All you do is you press this button here to add the beard, and you'll go ahead and see different options that you can scroll through, different beards, which is pretty cool. So I'm going to go ahead and choose this one here. I just hit the check mark button, and it comes up here, and you can actually resize this, rotate it, whatever, to try and make it fit the person's face. I'm going to do that real quick for you. Try and get this on here and make it look kind of half decent. It'll end up looking like this, and he looks like a homeless person now. Go ahead and hit the check mark button.
There you go.
Yes, that's kind of what it looks like. And then you can, save that to your camera roll, send it out to your friends or whatnot. It's a free application. It's for both Android and iOS. So you can use this on any device that you have, basically. And it's really freaking cool and funny, especially if you have, a female friend and you want to make them into a bearded lady, like I did with Jessica, Andrew's wife.
Yes, you did do
that. She came
out
as a fantastic bearded lady. I think that's just the most hilarious thing you can do with this application is put your female friends into it and give them a beard.
Yes,
really cool. It's for Android and iOS.
Yes, add a beard to my wife. I think that's the best thing you could possibly do.
Enjoy her face.
Enjoy her face. Nick. Nick. What's your pick of the week?
I don't think I can compare to John's pick of the week, but I'm going to be talking about the Elgato Game Capture HD.
Yes,
it's a USB 2.0 capture card, and it's not real time or anything, but it's got an H.264 built-in encoder to record up to 1080p, and it's got an HDMI pass-through built right into it. And the main reason I got this was my previous capture card, which was the Hauppauge HD PVR, which was a really common HD capture card, is component only, and with the next gen consoles coming out, everything's HDMI. So I picked this Elgato up. I mean, if you look at the size comparison between, something like this and the Elgato, I mean, it's unbelievable, the size difference. So it's portable. You could put it in a bag. It's got HDMI in, AV in, and then USB 2 and HDMI out. So it's a great portable device. The recording quality is unbelievable, and it'll do up to 1080p.
So what do you mean when you say it's not real time?
It's USB 2, so you wouldn't want to, like for Andrew, you wouldn't want to hook this up to your camcorder to do a show because there's going to be latency. It can't do real time.
How much latency is there?
I have it on a lower bit rate setting, so it doesn't max out my computer. But there's like a 2.5 second delay on the card, which is fine for recording. That's what I'm doing with it. I think you can make it almost up to real time, but it's never going to be true real time on USB 2.
Yeah, I mean, listen, it's specifically, they say gaming, but I know a lot of people that have this and they really like it. They say it's a phenomenal card, and the fact that it's USB 2.0, really, I mean, it's pretty good.
Yeah, I used it to actually record something off of a cable box last night. I DVR'd something and I hooked it up. I had to use a component because of HDCP, but hooked it up, brought down my laptop, hooked it up, and recorded the show without an issue, and it was great.
Oh, really cool. That's a good pick. It's a very good pick, Nick. Your first time on the show, and you got a really good pick.
Thank you.
John wants to put beards on my wife, and I'm trying to revive a 2.5-year-old phone. A 2.5-year-old phone I'm trying to use. So at least your pick saved this travesty of the picks of the week. Hey, Nick, I want to thank you for coming on, man. I should have you on more often. This is your first time on.
Yeah, I appreciate it. I really enjoyed it.
RadarGaming.net is the website. You're going on the air at 7 o'clock. You're going to be doing a review of the PlayStation 3. Stephen Haywood from the Tech Buzz is going to be joining you. You do a great show. I watch every week. I turn it on, and I encourage you guys to check it out. The kid's good.
I appreciate it.
He's a good boy, too. He's a very good boy. As in the words of Joe from Staten Island. He's a big fan of your show too. Joe from Staten Island watches every week.
Yeah, he's in there.
Talking about hair loss, but
great, yeah.
he loves the show. John, Suncast on Twitter. You can follow him on Twitter. You can follow me at Andrew Zarian. Nick, what's your Twitter handle?
It's at Gamecast Live on Twitter.
Gamecast Live on Twitter. If you missed any portion of the show, of course, you can catch it. You can subscribe to us. You can download it from our website. We're everywhere podcasts are available. Hey, guys, also, the holiday season is here, and it's time for you to do your shopping. And you know where you should do your shopping? On Amazon, because they have everything. They have everything you could ever imagine. I bought a mop on Amazon, and I used Nick's Amazon affiliate link. I bought a mop. I bought Febreze. I bought just household... Mop and Glow. I bought Mop and Glow also. You left that on, Nick.
Yeah.
But we also have an Amazon affiliate link. You could use our Amazon link. We get a tiny little credit, and it helps us out, making money here and there for this. We keep everything on our Amazon link, and it goes right back into the studio. So every time we need to do an update, we use our Amazon link to do that. We're saving money. You can go to gfq.co/Amazon. That's gfq.co/Amazon. Or if you're watching us live right now, go right ahead. Click on that Amazon button on the side. It'll just redirect you. And if you're buying something next 2 days, we'll get a little credit from it. It really helps us out. I encourage you guys to do it. That's rather than asking for a donation, I just ask you guys, when you're buying stuff on Amazon, use our link. So I really appreciate the people that are doing it. It's a huge help. Again, thanks to John and thanks to Nick for joining me today. And we'll see you all next week, guys. Good night.